Hi,
I'm Christina.
I'm Maya
from
Book
Book Dreams.
and welcome to a new video.
So, as you can see, today we are doing our December wrap-up. So, it's been, I feel like it's been a long time, like since December. It feels like it's been like at least a month.
Right.
Although it hasn't
Yeah.
been. But yeah, so how did your year end?
Well, I read 8 books in December. 3 were sci-fi romance, 2 were urban fantasy, 1 was comic book, 1 was non-fiction, and 1 was fantasy.
Okay.
What about
I
you?
read 8 books also. 4 fantasies, 2 urban fantasies, 1 non-fiction, and 1 sci-fi.
Okay, very cool.
Yes, so
let's start.
Yeah.
All right, so there are a couple of books that both of us have read, and first one of those is A Town Called River by Igor Rendic. Yes, I keep blanking on the name, first name. So this was a book that we got from the publisher for an honest review, and we do have a review video. You will find it somewhere around here, so you can check it out. But basically, this is an urban fantasy with Slavic mythology, in which we follow Paul, who comes back to Croatia after his grandmother has died, to deal with her estate. And he finds out that his grandmother was a karsnik, which is a protector of the people from the supernatural beings. And this is something that Paul is very unfamiliar with. And now he finds out that he has inherited her powers. So in this story, we follow him as he discovers the world anew, and it was a really fun read.
Yes, we really liked it, and we're looking forward to the sequel.
Mm-hmm.
It was interesting, and all our thoughts are in the review. It's better
So you can
just
check the other one.
Check it out. Yes. The second book we both read is The Fisher of Bones by Sarah Gailey. This is another book in our Sarah Gailey backlist series.
Read along?
Backlist.
Right.
Backlist.
Yes.
Let's
yes.
say series. So this is a short story novella that you can find online. We'll put all the links down below, and for which we also have a review on our channel. And basically this is a retelling of Moses, the story of Moses, featuring female main character. And if I say anything else, it's basically a spoiler, but there's a tribe of people who deal with blood magic, and there's witchy stuff, magic-y stuff going on, and they're going to
traveling to a place,
traveling to the promised land.
Yes.
And that's basically it. It was actually quite fun.
Yeah.
I really enjoyed it. So
it was a quick short read, and
Yeah.
I remember sending you a message when
Yes.
I read it, like, what the fuck was that? Because
Yeah.
the book was kind of weird, but yeah, it was interesting. You can check
Yes.
out the review for more of our thoughts on this story. And the last book that we read together, we both read for this month, is a book that we had on for our book club. And for each year for our book club, we pick several prompts from the Read Harder Challenge. And we had a book called Brain on Fire by Susanna Cahalan.
Yes, I think so.
I think it's Cahalan.
Yeah.
Basically, this is a non-fiction story in which we follow Susanna as she battles a mysterious illness. And through the story, we sort of see how this illness affects her family, her work, and how she deals with the discovery, basically the health system in America, and with her recovery from this mysterious illness. And it was an interesting read. There's also a movie, which for such an amazing cast is very bad. But yeah, it was an interesting read. I thought it was very illuminating, and it was I don't want to say fun to follow along, but it was it really held you your interest, yes, because everything there were some very unbelievable situations that have happened in the book, and I guess in real life, because it's a real life story. So yeah, it was a very interesting read.
Yes, definitely. My only pet peeve, I think, negative thing, was I really didn't connect that much to the to the story itself. It was more just reading, actually a newspaper article about it.
Yeah.
But the author is
actually
a journalist.
Yeah.
So it kind of fits. Yeah.
All right.
Okay, what did I read next? I think we're here, right? Okay,
Yes.
So moving on to fantasy. I read urban fantasy, sorry. Uh, so I read Blood Heir by Ilona Andrews, which is the first book in the Aurelia Rider series. So this is
Aurelia? It's not Aurora?
Aurelia.
Oh, I thought it was Aurora. Okay, sorry.
I think it's Aurelia. No, it's Aurelia. And like I've read the book.
All right, I don't know. Okay.
Yes, because it's from like gold.
Okay.
Yeah, never mind. Anyways, this is a spin-off in the Kate Daniel series, which features Julie as the main character. And I mean, if you haven't
Can
read...
you explain Julie without spoiling the Kate Daniel series?
Julie is a girl that Kate takes under her wing.
Okay.
Because Julie was in some dire circumstances and Kate helped her out.
All right. Does Julie have powers? I'm trying to remember this.
Yes.
Okay.
Some powers. I cannot tell you.
Okay. Does she do? Is she like a private investigator? Or is she a mercenary in this first one? Or is this spoilery? Neither. Okay.
Neither.
So she just goes around and does stuff.
So if you have not read the Kate Daniel series, you have no business reading this.
Oh, come on. But yeah.
No,
would not be...
No, because really, a lot of stuff wouldn't make sense to you because it's heavily based on stuff that has been going on throughout the Kate Daniel series, and the reason for Julie's actions do revolve a lot around Kate.
All right. Okay.
And that's like the least spoilery thing I can say. It's not. I mean, it is an investigation story. So we do, as usual with Ilona Andrews, we do have like a murder that has happened. Julie is, or Aurelia, she is looking for the murderer, and like I can't tell you more because just everything is so connected to the first 10 books that anything I say will spoil like the plot of this book or the plot of like the previous series. But I will say that I love the fact that Ilona Andrews again explains the world. So if you haven't been in the world for a long time, you can catch up really easily. That's number one. Number two, I sent you the message about this. Like, so many things happen because we have a jump of 8 years between the Kate Daniels books and this book, and so much has happened, so much has changed. There's so much, like room to offer new stories in the world, and to deal with new characters and old characters which haven't gotten yet their own like short story or like a separate book or something. So I'm actually really looking forward to seeing
the sequels and everything.
Yes, and one thing that is very actually specific, I think it's different than in the other books, is it's actually similar to the first Kate. Is it to the first Kate book? Yes. Everything is focused on Julie, who she is, what she does, why she does it. Okay. So there's no real, like the romance part.
All right, but is there something brewing in the background?
There is like just like a tiny subplot that that something's gonna happen.
All right.
But it's completely like it's going under the radar because her love interest. There also has been a lot of developments with him.
And the love interest is Derek?
Yeah.
Oh, okay, cool.
Well, we know that from the other books, but yeah it's Derek. And yeah. Like, he could get his own story, like his own book, because, like, a lot of things have happened. So, basically, yeah. I don't... Okay, that's it. I'm just gonna stop.
So, to continue on with this Ilona Andrews train, I read, finally, Emerald Blaze. This is book 6 in the Hidden Legacy series. I don't know why I waited so long, because it was just the same thing. Like, I just had to start it, and when you start it, you just don't stop, because it's so awesome. So, this is the book that brought me out of this weird reading slump that I have been in for like the last couple of months. And since this is book 6 in the Hidden Legacy series, what can I tell you? So basically, this is a world with magic in which there are powerful families, sort of mafia style, So each family has their own like interest when it comes to economy and making money and so on, and in which they use their powers. And in the first 3 books, we follow Nevada Baylor, and this is all set in Houston, Texas, in some dystopian future where magic basically wrecked everything and people are just, surviving. And in the first 3 books, we follow Nevada and her story with Rogan. And basically, in these 3 books, Nevada is not discovering, but sort of putting her powers more on the forefront and sort of bringing power to her small family. And in the next 3 books, so this is book 6, this is the next trilogy, we follow Catalina. It's not book 6.
It's 5, I
It's
think.
book 5, yes, sorry. So we follow Catalina, Nevada's sister, and she has a specific power of her own in which she can control how people feel about her. She can basically make everybody fall in love with her, and as her sister's power grew, so did hers, and she basically took over her sister's PI agency, and she's working on a case in this one. There is an underlying love story between her and a dude named Alessandro, who turns out to be like an Italian assassin dude. And yeah, that's pretty much anything I can tell you about this book without spoiling anything else. Basically, also, she's also a deputy warden of Texas, because in this world, the states are divided into territories, and each territory has a warden, who deals with very, very, very extra dangerous cases. So as the deputy of the warden, she has to deal with some of those cases, and this is, I guess, going to be a story that for this one and the next one, because I saw the summary for the next one. It's going to be amazing. Cannot wait.
Ooh,
Basically, yes. This Alana Andrews has always been reading Slump Crusher. So anytime you are slumpy and you enjoy urban fantasy, read that one, because it's really, really cool.
Yep, just everything they do, just amazing. Okay, so fantasy. I finished. I forgot again what the series is
Shades
called.
of Magic.
Is it the Shades of Magic?
I think it's Shades of Magic. We'll call it Shades of Magic. If it's not, someone will write here what it is.
So I finished Gathering of Shadows and A Conjuring of Light by V. Schwab. So I loved it. I loved it. Just the entire series was awesome. The second book follows on from the first book, where Kel and Lila and oh my god, what's the name of the captain? What's the name of the captain?
I don't remember. I read that so many years ago.
Oh god. Anyways, our 3 main characters are kind of participating in a tournament in games.
The second one, yes.
Yes. So go figure that I love that one the best, because apparently games are my thing and I love it, and it was perfect. Like, the games were just the first part of it, actually.
Mm-hmm.
No, the second part of it. But everything had a place in the book. Everything was just perfect to keep you interested and give you snippets of what will happen in the future, and just everything was just amazing about that one. And Conjuring of Light, which is the 3rd book, was also just really amazing, just a really strong finish. And just do I tell you what this is about? So basically, this is a story of 4 Londons. So we have 4 different Londons or worlds, and London is the one thing that's kind of connecting them together. And you have people that called Antari that can kind of travel through the world. And one of our main characters, Kel, is the Antari from Red London, which is kind of the most prosperous and the most vibrant. We also have White London, we have Black London, and Grey London, which is our London with no magic. And Black London is, for example, a place where, that's my husband. It's a place where there's no magic, it died. Then we have Lila, who is kind of the best character in the book. She is from Grey London, but she also, already in the first book, you can see that there's something different and more important about her. And she's a thief, mostly, but she is just amazing. I'm missing English words. I'm sorry, I haven't slept a lot in the past 3 days. Just no creative how do you say snalajliva?
Resourceful.
She is very resourceful, very violent at times, very crafty, good at fights, and just like, and actually through the books we discover that maybe she also has some kind of magic, and she just kind of, you go on a journey with her to see where this goes.
Mm-hmm. Now your dog will start barking.
He won't. He will just keep scratching the door. It's fine.
All right. So
Go on.
the next thing I read, I actually started this in November, but I finished it in December. I read the entirety of Saga by Brian K. Vaughan and Fiona Staples. So this is a fantasy sci-fi mix in which we follow these two characters who are on differing sides of a war, and they get together and have a kid. See the kid. Her name is Hazel, and then a lot of stuff happens. This is a very popular comic book on the booktube and in the world, and the art is beautiful. The story is epic but so strange. There were moments where I was like, what the fuck? I was sending her messages while I was reading it. I'm like, I don't think I want to continue with it, because I read the first 3 volumes and I was like, I don't get it. I don't understand the hype. I don't understand whatever. But I read the whole thing. By the end, I did not care at all. But there were so many. I mean, there were so many characters. Like the end. This is volume 9. Ends on a huge cliffhanger, and my reaction was like, okay.
Aww.
So by the end of it, maybe it was my reading mood. Maybe it was just I just wasn't really. There were some cool moments and stuff, and as I said, the art was very beautiful. But just overall, like, I don't know, I gave it 3 stars, I think, because I was like, okay, it's fine. It's you know, I like some parts, but will I continue? I don't know. I wasn't really all that gripped and everything by the story. But yeah, because the Robot Kingdom kind of fucked me over, because it was like
you really didn't like that.
The whole, like, you were talking, because we follow many characters, many factions. One of them is the Robot Kingdom, and they have this robot prince who has been in the war, and he has trauma from the war, and that trauma sort of shows up because they have screens instead of heads, like a TV screen or whatever screen, and basically his trauma shows up that in appropriate moments his screen shows like graphic porno scenes, like, and I'm like, why? Couldn't you show it? I don't know, like, apparently, like, I was such a, those moments was like, I don't know what is happening. I don't know why this is such a, I don't know. Anyway, so I read it. I'm glad I read it, because now when people talk about it, I can be like, oh yeah, I've read it, and I there is a read along happening, which I was supposed to watch the live shows for, but I didn't. But I will have to do it now, because I want to see what other people say, if they agree with me or not. But yeah, read this.
Okay, cool. So the next book I read is actually from my video of most, like, I think 5-star predictions. So I finally read it, and unfortunately it wasn't a 5-star, it was a 3-star, and that is Circe by, sorry, I keep almost hitting you, like, I'm gonna put it here. So Circe by Madeline Miller. So as the title says, this is the story about Circe, the mythological witch Circe from the island Aiea, something like that. I actually also listened to the audio along with reading, and like I can't remember the name, but anyways, so we follow Circe as she first lives with her family at her like home, like in a cave with all the gods, like and then she is cast out because she does something that she shouldn't, and she's like, you know, I'm gonna make an example out of you, kind of thing, story happening. And she goes to this island where she develops her witchcraft and becomes like this really awesome witch, and you know, she is very interested in humans, and we follow first her love story with somebody like from the human world, which kind of isn't that it doesn't end happily, and then we go on to follow her love story with Odysseus, and I don't know, it's just, the writing was beautiful. Again, like, Madeline Miller literally writes beautiful fiction. The informative character of the book was also awesome. I learned a lot about the mythology about Circe, about Odysseus, about different gods, Hermes. There was a lot of Hermes in there also. Like there was a lot of stuff that although I love myths, I just didn't know. So that was awesome. But the story itself, just I don't know. I just
was meandering. But didn't really have a lot of plot. I mean, I remember.
I think it's just like I had in my mind that this was like a love story.
Mm-hmm.
Like everybody is saying like this is the love story about Circe and Odysseus, and that actually happens like basically
At the end.
Like the last third of the book. Like the first 2/3 are literally like this is a story about Circe, like about her life. This is not a love story.
Mm-hmm.
Like I think people, because the Song of Achilles was indeed a love story, kind of mirror that onto this book, and it's not. It's just real. I think I gave it 3 stars because like I just had different expectations of it.
Mm-hmm.
But I like the information was interesting. I don't know. It felt slow, and it felt like I don't know.
Okay.
I just didn't vibe with it. That's it. Also, in the middle of the book, I don't know if I've just missed anybody saying this, but like content warnings for like sexual assault, please, people, like just say it. That's like, because I was listening to it and just like it came out of nowhere. I stopped. I was on my walk and I just stopped and I was like, what the fuck just happened? I was literally shocked and a bit traumatized by that. Like it was just like 2 or 3 sentences, but like that was like.
Wait, is that when Odysseus' men start going to the island and she turns them into pigs, or is it something else?
No.
Something okay, then it's before that.
Like the first men who come and then they see a woman alone.
Oh yeah, I remember now. Yeah.
Yeah, it literally comes out of nowhere, maybe, but technically, woman alone, men. I should have guessed, but it's
Took you by surprise.
Yeah. So that was like, yeah. So that's Circe.
So let's end my wrap up with 3 books I read in the period between Christmas and New Year's, where time has no meaning. And I wanted to read something that was easy and something that was fun. So I, through some recommendation videos that I came upon on YouTube, found Michelle Mills and her Monsters Like Curvy Girls series, in which I read the first 3 books. The first one, His Human Nanny. The second one, His Human Surrogate. And the third one, His Human Assistant. Basically, the overall plot is that a human girl who is a plus size person, that's such a weird way to say that. Anyway, curvy girl, goes to a planet with aliens that look like the devil. And they have some sort of a job. And they fall in love with their employer. And by the end of the book, this is a 50-page story. They fall in love, and each book ends like that. And each book follows a character that we've met in the previous book, as it goes, right? So when I read the first one, I was so entertained. It was so much fun. I think I gave it 4 stars on.
Oh, okay.
And I just read it, and it was like I didn't notice anything bad with it, and I had such fun, and it was so good because it was a sort of a slow burn romance, but it's a 150-page story, so it doesn't really have a lot of slow burn. But basically the point was that these aliens have this code in which if they are in any way connected to another female or whatever, a partner, they can't really screw around. So there's no adultery and stuff. So in the first book, this was a problem because so this dude hires a human nanny because, first of all, it was trendy at that time on his plan to hire humans for nannies because they're like caring and whatnot. But he became a father in a way that he was sort of date raped by this woman, and she basically dumped these twin babies at his door and left. And because she had his children, so they were technically connected, and so they had to go through the courts to deal with their connection to sort of figure out what was happening. And because until they figured it out, he couldn't really do anything with nanny, and whose name I think is Riley or Amber or something stupid, but I don't know. So basically, they were both sort of pining for each other. But then in the end, they, everything is resolved and whatnot. So that was the first one. I loved it. I enjoyed it so much. And I read the second one. The second one had so many consent problems, and basically it's called a surrogate because this dude, so he's friends with this, it's all connected to the first couple. Basically they were friends and they have both fallen for each other, and but both were like, no, we're friends, we're not gonna like fuck with that, and they didn't really talk to each other about how they were feeling. And so the alien dude was like, well, she's obviously going to be with me, and he had this plan. But the problem happened, there was like political stuff that happened on his planet, and humans were now forbidden to come to the planet unless they have work visas. And so the only way she could get a work visa is to become a surrogate. And she wanted to come to the planet because she's best friends with the girl from the first book. And he basically, the alien dude, basically outbids everyone and then impregnates her. I mean, actually, she's like thinking she's going to be a surrogate. So if you're a surrogate, you are basically a carrier for someone else's egg and sperm, right? And this was not what happened. He basically paid the doctors to impregnate her with his sperm, and basically he raped her. And then he put her in this house, his house that he bought, because she also does like, she restores old things from the place. So he basically bought an old house, put her in it, like you can do whatever you want, right? And he had to go away because he's like a special ops person. And while he was on his job, he basically found that he was being set up for something, and his family and his surrogate was in trouble. So he came back, hid in the attic of his house, and basically stalked this girl for 6, 7, 8 months ever she was pregnant, because she's pregnant with an alien thing, I don't know, and basically stalked her the entire time. So there were some moments where he was basically raping her night after night after night with like, no, oh, it's all a dream, you know, kind of a thing. It was so horrible. And in this 150-page book, he said impregnation so many times. I was like, why? And it was also very repetitive. This was the first time I discovered the repetitive nature of these stories. Basically, each time someone would talk, they would tell their circumstances, like, how did we get here? Like, we talk, blah, 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 I'll tell you. Then next scene, we talk again, I'll tell you again. I was like, what the fuck is this? Then I read the third one, because I thought, like, the second is bad. Okay, obviously, the second books in this series obviously are bad. I have experiences with this. Let's read the third one. The third one was a little bit better than the second one, but in general, basically, it's the same thing. They are all very repetitive, and the sex part only happens at the end. So they are fun. Someone mentioned in the comments on Goodreads, on the reviews, like, I keep forgetting how little sex they have for such a fun book and such an interesting thing. So yeah, I read those 3, and oh my god, it was a fucking journey.
Obviously.
Yeah, alright.
So the final and actually best book I read, and like to finish on a high note, is Project Hail Mary by Andy Weir. So this is Maya's copy. I read it on audio, which I recommend to like no end. Cool. The audiobook is so fantastic because this book has a character who communicates in a certain way, which is dealt with so awesome, like in such an awesome way in the audiobook, that I just loved it. I just absolutely loved it. So this is the story of Rylan Grace. He is a science high school teacher, and he kind of ends up on a spaceship in space, not in our solar system. And he has to do something. However, he does not remember what he has to do, and his team is dead. So we are following him in 2 timelines. The first one is as he is in the spaceship and trying to figure out what to do, what's happening. And the other one is his recollections from the time before he actually came to the spaceship. And just like what happened, through that we find out what happened, why he's there, why anyone is there. And in the timeline with the spaceship, he kind of finds an unexpected ally. Right. That's it. That's actually what it says in the summary, thing, and that's it. What I'm going to tell you. But the book was an absolute joy to read. It was interesting from start to finish. It kept me wanting to just read it more and more. I didn't want it to end. I had moments where I was like fully on emotional, on the verge of tears, just saying no, this cannot happen, and at the same time happy, like moments of happy tears and like, oh my god, he really did this. Oh my, like I just, it has one of the best characters ever, one of the best friendships ever. So definitely, I so highly recommend it. I'm definitely gonna buy the like
Your own
physical,
copy, yeah.
my own copy, because it was just an amazing read. Like it was full of like what Andy Weir is known for, full of humor, but like also science stuff, which don't overwhelm you. Like really, they really don't. I actually understood a lot of things that he explained in here, so that was so cool. And I just really like the fact that again we have like just a regular person being this awesome like savior, you know, like, or like just like crazy things happening to them, so you can really relate and be like, oh my god, what would I do in this moment? This is so crazy. So yeah, just awesome.
All right, so that was our wrap up. If you've survived till the end of this video, great, good for you. You can leave us a thumbs up emoji down below, so we know that you are very, very awesome. Anyway, so all the information about the books and other important information is down in our description box, so please do check it out.
Yes, please like, share, subscribe, press the bell button if you want to get notifications whenever we post new videos.
And thank you so much for watching. We will see you in the next video. Bye.
Bye.